All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
Yeah, baby, welcome on in. NorCal Sports Network. Warriors, Rockets in a classic game. Physical, fights, disagreement, just crazy stuff. And the Warriors prevail behind Jimmy Buckets. Playoff Jimmy comes through. We're going to get into it. Get your calls, your comments. First, let us thank our sponsor of the show, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Chapman Law Group for all your legal needs, especially if you've got a personal injury situation. You do not want to settle with an insurance carrier or company before you call Chapman Law Group. If you do, you're leaving thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on your case, on the table. Give Chapman Law Group a call, 415-613-9483. They will get you the best settlement possible. All right. Everybody, welcome on into the show. Warriors hold off the Rockets in just a dogfight. I mean, 109-106. I kind of thought the Warriors should have fouled as they crossed over the half-court line with about, 2 seconds, 1 second. Don't let Van Fleet get that shot off. He could have tied it up, and if they tie it up, man, you run the risk of blowing it in overtime. You give a team a whole big jolt if they hit a buzzer beater. I don't know why the Warriors never don't foul. I mean, Reggie Miller saying, you got to foul. Just as he crosses over and he's running, just heat check him into the stands, man. I mean, you don't want to do that. You'll get a flagrant. But, reach for the ball and go for a foul. And they've got – I understand the logic behind not doing it because you make the first free throw, right? And then you miss the second intentionally. And if they hit a three because of a lucky bounce, game over, you lose 4 points, right? It can happen. I've seen it happen in basketball. So I understand it. You take the odds of them hitting a wild three. But man, that was exactly, Reg. That was torture. That was torture tonight. Yeah, everybody, make sure you like and subscribe. Smash the like button if you would. Thanks, Drag. Good to see you in here. Man, I'll tell you what, we'll put the link in here a little later, too, and anybody wants to come in and join us. We should be joined here shortly by Frank Red. And Lou, the game was, back and forth, a game of runs. I mean, the Warriors looked like they were going to come out and, put a blitz on them. And then Houston has a run. And the Warriors start off the second half with an 18-1 opening. And you're thinking, man, they're just going to keep putting it. But Houston would not give up. They had no answer tonight for Alfred Sengun. Sengun had 31. Van Fleet, 25. And Curry only had 20 or 14, 50. No, how many did Curry have? 17. Buddy with some key shots. Pods, 26. Maybe the game of his life based on the actual, the importance of the game. I would say that was Pod's best game. And let's thank Dylan Brooks as well for getting Jimmy fired up on the free throw line. I loved it. I knew Jimmy was all business. Jimmy ain't screwing around. These guys trying to get into Jimmy Butler's head. That guy's just a clown, Dylan Brooks. Just an absolute clown. Give us your thoughts, Lou.
Another crazy game, sort of hard to watch, at times. I mean, but I'm going to say,
a lot of breakup in
yeah,
the game.
it was just one of those things. But you know what? Great game. Warriors come out to win. A very gutsy win. I'm just scared of two things. Are the Warriors going to have anything left for the next round? Say if this goes 6, because I mean it's pretty grueling, both things. But I'm gonna tell you, I know you were sort of upset at the last minute. In the last 4 seconds they did not foul, but I thought Kerr did something with about 3:50 left that sort of changed the game.
Oh,
When they bought Looney in and they attacked Adams twice because the Warriors were getting dominated on the board. He just came off a big block, and then it was in his head. He took himself out. That sort of changed it because we were up 4. Houston was up 4. And all of a sudden, before you knew it, the Warriors, it was like a 6-0 run. Huge difference, maybe overlooked, but it was, huge. I also thought one really good thing about Butler
is Frank.
Butler doesn't play to lose. He does whatever it takes to win, and he plays so smart. I thought the other great thing that was sort of bizarre today is we played 11 guys, but no no Kuminga, which I thought Kuminga probably deserved time, especially in this type of game. But, overall, you're right. Pod's best game of the year. And I'll give Buddy Hield a little credit. He hit 2 huge threes.
Yeah.
When instead of him just firing up, he actually took the extra dribble inside, passed away. He had 2 huge assists when the run came down. So I think, it was overall, it's amazing. You win as a team, you lose as a team. This was a total team win, especially when Steph just couldn't get his shots off. So the other people had to rise to the top. They did. They got the W.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, like you said, Buddy played a really good game. Pods, maybe the game of his life based on the magnitude of the game. We'll get into a lot of the other details. We'll get into some of the calls, the technicals, the flagrants. But let's first get Frank's take on the game. What do you think, Frank?
I thought 2 entities won tonight. Golden State Warriors and basketball fans. I mean, all 3 of us are old enough to remember what basketball looked like when we fell in love with the game. This is what it looks like. And I salute the Houston Rockets because they came here with the intention of winning this game. They made adjustments. They didn't change their style, and they played tough. And the Warriors needed, like you said, maybe career-esque type performances from multiple guys to just eke out this victory. So very impressed with Kerr from the sidelines. I mean, we can talk about things we don't like, but the reality is he pushed the buttons that got them to the finish line. He's a guy who in practice, who is encouraging the guys that he's playing to be themselves and to believe in themselves. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. You have your talent, but you have your confidence. You got to show up when the moments are the biggest. And the Warriors did tonight. Very proud of this team because Houston did everything they could do to win this game, and they lost. And that was because the Warriors collectively stayed together and made the plays down the stretch. It's always about execution in the clutch, and the Warriors executed more than the Houston Rockets did.
Yeah, I got to give Houston credit because their game plan was very clear. They had two objectives tonight. One was to stop Curry at all costs, and 2 was get into the paint and just take it to the hoop, and then Van Fleet got hot, and he hit 8 threes. And when he let go of that one at the end of the game, I thought, oh my gosh, it's online. It just, it was just short. But that was remarkable in the fact that, they weren't just face shielding Steph. They were hounding him even one-on-one. They were Houston's young, fresh legs. They put a couple different guys on him at different times, and Steph couldn't break free of them. And I lost $50 there in the fourth quarter. I did live betting. I bet 2 bets. I had a $25 bet to win 95 that he'd make 2 threes in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And I bet $25 to win 255. It was plus 9 something to make 3. I thought Steph would show up in the fourth. He hit 1. He hit 1 and he had 2 for the game. He just didn't get many shots off. And then he got some air balls tonight. I think he had 2 of them at least. Draymond had an air ball. Post had an air ball or 2. I mean, I don't know what it was, but the Rockets looked like they were in their head tonight, shooting wise. Warriors, I mean, they were flying, the Rockets. Buddy was fortunate to be able to get a few of those off. And of course, they kind of left Pods open and Draymond. And, how many did Pods hit tonight? Did he hit like 4 or 5? Let me see. Pods was 6 of 11. 6 of 11 from 3 tonight.
Yeah.
Buddy was 3 for 9, but they were all big. Steph was 2 for 8. Steph was only attempted 13 shots entirety. He usually shoots more threes in a game than 13. I mean, my goodness, they really shut him down. So my stars of the game are definitely Pods and Jimmy Butler. What can you say about Jimmy Butler? Comes out, plays 40 minutes. You could see the pain he was in. You saw in that breakaway early in the end of the first half, he was chasing down, I don't know, whoever it was, but you saw him he couldn't even run full speed without, like you saw the leg just kind of didn't have it. And for him to gut out 40 minutes and score 27 and not miss a free throw tonight, he was 12 of 12. 12 of 12, had 6 assists, got big rebounds. What a gutsy performance, man. My hat's off to Jimmy Butler. Jeez, this dude must have an incredible tolerance for pain because he's out there. I mean, he played last year, the year before on a grade 2 MCL tear. Jeez. I mean, that Curry had that in several years ago in a series against Houston. He had to sit out. I think he missed like 2+ weeks. Yeah, I mean, that's not easy to do. He just guts it out. So, but I want to get your guys' take on the first flagrant that they gave him a technical. Draymond a technical on the
screen.
On the screen when all he really did was get up and try to stop. He kind of gave a push, and you got to be a little for it, but he wasn't pushing hard. He was just like, hey, and you could see he was like, hey, cool it. He was trying to get in between, and they gave him a T. And then they give Curry a T for saying that's your second. I mean, what is this? I mean, is that I don't know. It just seemed a little over the top to me. I guess you can give Curry in a way, but I didn't think Green deserved that. And I didn't think he deserved the flagrant for the kick in the head. Has any of these officials ever played? Have you ever fallen over and your legs just like he intentionally got his foot and Eason couldn't let it go the whole game? The Rockets are just like, they're all worked up over, they're just looking for a fight, the Rockets, man. They're looking for something to get themselves motivated, it seems. What do you guys think on the calls on Draymond tonight? On the
Frank,
team
you want me to go first? Or would you like? All right. I personally think the announcers got confused because they said Green and both guys were involved. I thought it was a very high screen by Draymond. I thought it was sort of a route. I mean, it was very high with a shoulder. It should have been on Draymond. I thought that was his foul. I think the announcers, since they said Green, they got confused. The other thing too, which I thought was weird, is you got to remember who we're talking about. Green was sort of talking smack. He's been known for this. So, hey, Green's going to get it 85% of the time just because he has a reputation. For the second one, I thought he came down on him, but I didn't think that was a technical. So I'm not going to call both. I also got a little confused because if you get a technical and then you get a fraudulent second one, how is he not thrown out of the game? Isn't that a technical too? I got a little confused. So, but you know what? I thought the first one, Draymond was fouled. The second one, you know what? Hey, that's just basketball. He came on him, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It could have been his head. It could have been his shoulder. It's just he came down that way. I don't think he did anything wrong.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, but it's then you got to give Amin Thompson a flagrant for what happened to Butler. He didn't have any control of his body either, and he fell into Butler.
But you also had another one later where Butler sort of stopped and almost took the guy out. Hey, yeah. I thought the one thing they had a problem tonight, and Frank knows when he plays, the refs got to put everyone back, call the coaches over, and tell them, hey, this has to stop. Let's play. I thought the refs were sort of all over the place, and that's what sort of made the game worse. You got to have guys when they're talking on the free throw line, hey, enough. You got to get control. They didn't have control. They completely lost it. I thought it was all over the place, and that makes the game worse because you know what? The players, they don't know what they can get away with. I just thought, a lot of it, the refs I thought were really, really bad. Just because they you got to make a statement, you got to make it early so everyone understands. But everyone was sort of like, let me see what I can get away with. Let me see what I can get away with. And it sort of really ruined the momentum of the game. It took it to a standing halt. And, I want to see action. I mean, but here, let me ask Frank, when you're a player, what do you think about, what I said, where, the refs, if they sort of let you play, you sort of keep going until you can get away with so much. I just thought the refs sort of blew it. That's just me being a fan.
Well, I think Sunday's action precluded tonight's game because the referees decided the outcome. They didn't want to do that tonight. Draymond's reputation precedes him, and at the same time, he's a major draw, and he is such an influential player for the Warriors towards winning. And all of those things matter. What you don't want to do as a referee is bring attention to yourselves. And sometimes you run the risk of, like you guys are saying, letting the game get out of hand. I think the onus is on Draymond to dial it in a little bit. I think he was hyped up because he plays best when he's on a fever pitch. Myself physically, because I wasn't as talented as some of the pros that I was playing against, I loved physicality. All right. Now, I wasn't Draymond because I wasn't kind of an instigator at times, but I like to talk with my physicality. If you want to play hard and physical against me, then I would do it right with you. And I wouldn't say anything because my high school coach taught us not to talk. So that's the difference. I never talked. With regards to the game, that second quarter lull was kind of crazy. I don't know how Draymond didn't get kicked out. All right. The only way Draymond didn't get kicked out of the game is because they didn't want to kick him out. They could have easily found a way to get him out of there. I mean, this technical versus flagrant one. I'm saying? I'm glad he didn't get kicked out because I don't think the Warriors would have won the game had he gotten kicked out. But I think in Game 5 you're going to see a different tempo, a different sensitivity in terms of how the referees moderate the game because you're right. The game got out of hand a little bit. Thank God for a great closing at the end because it wound up being a great game, but it was off balance. And aesthetically, that's not great for viewers. It worked out for the Warriors, but I don't want a repeat of that type of game that we saw tonight.
You're right. Now, I will say this on a flagrant. A flagrant is just a foul, but it comes with two shots in the ball. So it's not a technical. He had the one technical, which confused people because it's a stand, flagrant's just upgraded to a special. It's just a regular foul with two shots in the ball. So now here's the deal. First of all, I thought the screen was pretty solid. It was high, but the player ran into him high. Draymond, he flinched at the end, but that's natural when you get hit, kind of. You get hit, you're just, you're not, I don't think he, threw the elbow to get the screen.
Can you play it by chance? Can we see it?
I don't know if
you can. I'm just so you know, you can get Frank. I mean, I'm just wondering. Not a big deal.
Yeah. Now,
different opinions.
Then Brooks gives Curry a shot. They didn't even call that. That was after the call on who was it? Amin or Eason that took the shot? I think it was Amin, right? Thompson.
Yeah, that was a foul on Dillon against Curry. That was a definite foul.
But
they didn't call it.
But the foul had already been called.
Right.
So the foul was called on Thompson for this around the screen, and then Brooks takes a cheap shot and just gives his hip to Curry to the floor. They don't even call that, and Curry reacts and says that's two, thinking it was on him. And then Brooks takes the ball away, and then Green steps in and kind of gives Brooks hey, gets in between, and he's not doing anything that time, but just trying to cut everything off so it doesn't, escalate. And he gets called for a T.
Reputation.
Unbelievable.
Plus he did grab his jersey. But I agree with you. I mean, that was Draymond's reputation.
That was a separate play, though, Lou. That was when he grabbed the jersey. Now, that was the play where the loose ball and Draymond dove, and then as he fell over Eason.
No. He grabbed Dillon's jersey, too. When he was pushing him away from Curry, his other right hand kind of had his jersey. Okay. He was pushing him and grabbing his jersey. I mean, these calls were almost just like disruptors to the action. I mean, I wish that the play had been smoothed out a lot earlier and we didn't have to deal with this. But I actually think the Warriors needed it. I actually think they did because outside of that fast start, Houston outplayed the Warriors tonight. So they needed to muck this game up and close it at the end like the veteran team they are. So it actually worked to the Warriors' advantage. It really did. You're muted, Dan.
All that extra time gave Curry and Butler some more time to rest because there was that's like a 4-minute rest period for those guys. They're just sitting around. So I think it was just a fantastic finish. I mean, the fact that Draymond doesn't get Defensive Player of the Year when he's 6'6" and he's guarding a 7-footer and he guards every position. The fact that he was able to just, comes down to him and he didn't give ground. I mean, and then Jimmy to go up and get that rebound when he's sore, he gets up high enough again, grabs it. That was just pure. These guys have a will to win. I mean, Houston's young, and this is why I wanted Houston, because they're young and inexperienced. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy series. This thing could still, likely going to go 6.
It's coming back. Yep.
Likely going to go 6. And this is what I predicted originally, Warriors in 6. Better not go 7. Because if it goes 7, Houston's going to have some momentum. And let me ask you guys this. Jimmy's hurting. The next game is just a couple nights.
Yes, keep him in San Francisco till Friday. Is that your question, Dan?
Yeah. Would you rest Jimmy to get more? Because is he ever going to get that thing better? I don't know. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to see Buddy play much Wednesday night. I don't want to see Buddy play much on the road unless he's hitting them, because he's usually awful. We'll see how he does. The other thing is, I want to see Kuminga play on the road a little bit just to get him into the game, see what he's doing if he's not doing well. Because I think Kuminga plays better on the road. I do. I think he presses at home. I think he plays better on the road because I think this series seems built for him. I'm not saying he gets a lot of playing time going forward, but this series feels like it's built for him with the high-flying Rockets. And I'm just surprised he doesn't get 5 minutes run. You gave Trace Jackson-Davis a run tonight, which was interesting, to try and stop Sengun. They were just trying everything because Post was pretty bad on defense. In fact, Post, one of the worst games I've seen Post play in a while, because he was not good on offense. He had the hook that he made, but he had 13 points and he was 3 of 4 from the free throw line. But I guess it wasn't the worst game, but he just didn't look like he was in rhythm tonight to me.
No,
Houston does that to you. I thought we got too many. We got 3-point happy too much in the run, and when we weren't hitting, that's how Houston got back into the game.
Yeah. And I hear D Loden. He says he proved he shouldn't be playing in 2 separate games. I just want to see what he might do in Houston. If he can play within himself.
I just don't like it. I mean, listen, man, you cannot like some of what the coaches does and still acknowledge that he's a great coach. I just don't like I've never liked coaches who bury guys. I just don't like it. I mean, for what you said, Dan, you don't know what Kuminga's going to do from game to game. Now, what this speaks to is the proliferation of analytics. Kerr is a strong believer in analytics, and maybe even organizationally they are. So they look at the analytical data and it says, well, Kuminga doesn't play well with this guy, so we can't play him here. And I'm like, no, man, coach the team. Coach the team. Because when I see those guys pogo sticking all over the Warriors, getting rebounds, that frustrates the hell out of me. Because you know what? Houston was 1 or 2 plays away from winning this game. And to Kerr's credit, one of your responsibilities is to get your guys ready to play. And he did that tonight. All of his plays. I mean, to think that Brandon Podzinski could play at the level that he's playing right now, when a couple of years ago he's sitting in the cafeteria at Santa Clara, is amazing. It really is. So you got to give the coaches credit for that. You got to give most of the credit to Brandon. But I got to give Kerr credit for getting the guys ready to play. But to bury Kuminga and not even put him in the game, I don't like that stuff, man. I just don't like it.
It's interesting. Pods is a second-year guy, and everybody says Kerr doesn't play young guys. He doesn't develop young guys. Well, Pods is playing pretty well. And, he took that charge tonight, which is beautiful. I loved it. He was hitting his shots. He was he did miss that one layup on that beautiful pass from Jimmy.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, man, that was
Draymond.
Draymond threw that, yeah. Let's get to a couple of super chats. Propa says, do you think this team would be better or worse had we gotten Durant? KD is a better player, but I don't know. Intangibles and leadership matters. I think Jimmy's the perfect fit for this team, what this team needed. It needed mental toughness. It needed a guy to slow them down and change the way they run their offense. I love KD, but KD, I think, would be just, KD's unbelievable. And, it's hard to say, would they be worse or better with KD, but I think Jimmy's just the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Take that, Lou.
I don't understand why we're even questioning this.
I love it.
I mean, KD's great, and he was
Yeah.
great with the Warriors, but we don't know if he's the same player. I mean, my God, what Butler has done,
Yeah.
he's the perfect fit. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be where we are if we would have gotten KD instead of Butler. I mean,
We would have been
Butler
9 or
has
10
changed
seed.
this. Yeah, Butler has changed it so much. He's changed. He's bought in his championship pedigree, which both of them have, but the defense has stepped up, and the confidence of some of the players. You don't know. Butler has come in, and we don't know if KD was here, if Brandon would be the same player, because the shots. Remember, Butler is sacrificing a lot. He'll shoot it when he has to, but I don't think there's a comparison. I'm glad we got Butler. I'm glad we got Butler for 2 more years, because I think with KD it would have been a completely different team, and we shouldn't be talking about this because right now, we're up 3-1. We haven't clinched anything yet. I think it's going to be a war on Wednesday. I am expecting them to come back on Friday. But why we're even talking about this, I mean, we should be extremely happy. We got Butler. He signed for 2 more years. We have Draymond 2 more years, and we have Steph, and we have Kerr. No need.
Yeah, and timing is everything. You know what I'm saying? Because as great as this team is right now, and they could conceivably win a title this year, teams are going to spend the entire offseason trying to figure these Warriors out. And they might be running out of time this year because the chemistry, the continuity, and just the flow of how they're playing is at its zenith right now. They're playing really, really well. So, but every year is a different year. The Warriors have been pretty healthy. They got 3 guys 35 years and older playing huge minutes. So it's going to be interesting next year. These young teams that we're talking about, they're going to get better. If you look at the Houston Rockets right now, the one player they actually need is KD. It wouldn't surprise me if Kevin Durant isn't on Houston next year or Detroit. One of these young up-and-coming teams, that's where KD's going to be at next year. So
I think it might be tough for KD to get dealt with this new CBA. As I was understanding it, it sounds like that it's not going to be easy to trade him because of I don't understand it all, but just the way the collective bargaining agreement works.
I mean,
but
he's going to be at a place that he feels comfortable. But you know what, though? Getting back to this game, I'm just really, really impressed with the execution at the end. Because Houston said, like you guys said earlier, Stephen Curry's not going to beat us tonight. And that takes a lot of mental focus because the Warriors are setting all of these multiple picks to get Stephen open. Houston has watched the tape. They have to make the defensive adjustments as fast as the Warriors are making the offensive adjustments. And they did. And the Warriors said, okay, well, we got other players that can get us to the finish line. Jimmy Butler was the guy down the stretch. Best game I've ever seen Buddy Hield play in his life. Ever. And we joke around and we talk about some of the obvious mistakes that he makes, but I'm happy for this guy. I'm happy that he gets an opportunity for once in his career to actually play minutes that matter and come through. The Warriors don't win without Buddy Hield tonight.
Yeah,
that
you know how many minutes?
Shots.
Buddy played 30 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
It was Butler 40, Steph 39, Pods 40, Buddy 30, Draymond 26. Moody's down to 12. Post got 20, and GP2 got 16, the big minutes, guys. Looney 5, Trace Jackson Davis 6, and Santos 1. Santos 1 minute was actually decent, if I remember right. Did he get a board or so? What did he do? Did he get a board? No, he got a foul, but he did not get. No, did he not? Did he get a foul? Hard to say. Personal fouls. No, he didn't. But I thought he did something. At least he touched the ball or something. Anyway, one more super chat here from Bill M. He says, forget Jonathan Kuminga. Kerr wants nothing to do with him.
Let me address Val for 1 second. Val Ramos.
Oh, Val, let's see. Let me get Val's comment up here. Which one was it? Kuminga's a lightweight bust. That one.
I mean, either one. He has this thing about. Yeah, he has a thing about Kuminga. Listen, Val, listen. I'm not Jonathan Kuminga's cheerleader. All right, I'm not. I want everybody to be successful. But this is what I want to tell you, Val. When Jimmy Butler or anybody gets hurt, then Kurt says, "Okay, Kuminga, come on, we want you now, and we believe in you." And then when those other guys come back, he can't even get a drink of water. So which one is it? When you put the guy on the court and you have expectations for him to play well, guess why he's playing well? Because he has confidence. You have confidence in him. All right? So you can't have it both ways. The thing I'm telling you about Jonathan Kuminga, yes, you said the Warriors won without him. Miraculously, they did win without him. They could have very easily lost the game tonight. When Quentin Post was getting just like bushwhacked every play, you couldn't throw Jonathan Kuminga in for a couple of minutes to maybe get a rebound? I mean, give me a break. So I'm not his cheerleader. What I'm saying is that he is conspicuous by not getting any time when he gets some time in previous games. That's all I'm saying. That's it. And I want him out like everybody else does to go to a place where he can build his career and get better. You don't get better by sitting on the bench. You just don't.
Right. That's correct. That is correct. Yeah, it's what do you say? It's just
he said Kuminga had his time to be great, and he didn't come through. Give me a break, man. When did he have his time to to develop? When? Jesus.
Yeah, I think Kuminga is what I saw of him in game 3 was some really good defense when he was in there. He had a couple plays on offense, had a couple moves. This is just a tough series. I mean, the other thing Kuminga not used to is the physicality. He got fouled the other night, and he was complaining to the ref, like, hey, he's going down the court, and it's like, hey, those don't get called in this season. This is a new season. The other stuff, that's just getting ready for the real season. It's like, so let me throw that out there for. I know deloading wanted to come in and give us some thought, but Friday. Let's see. This is Monday. Wednesday night's game. It's Warriors better win this in 6 at the minimum, because this is every 2 days now. And if they win Friday in game 6, there's a possibility that the league starts the first series on Sunday with if the Minnesota series is over.
They would. I think they would. I don't know for sure.
I think they might, because they love to get those things on the weekends. But it depends on how many series go, because I think everything gets wrapped up on Sundays this week, by all the series. I mean, Cleveland and OKC swept, right? The 2-1 seeds. They're just waiting on they're just waiting on the 4-5 winner. And so they're probably not starting, because I think Denver and the Clippers is going 7, which would end Sunday, I think, Saturday, Sunday. And because they're going tomorrow, Clippers? They're probably Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep.
Let me look here. NBA schedule. While I'm looking here, we'll bring in deloading. Welcome to the show, deloading. How's it going?
Up, guys. What an incredible win. Oh my God.
Yes.
Awesome.
He's with us, I think. Yeah. Tuesday, Thursday. Game 6, if necessary, Nuggets, Clippers, and then the game 7 would be Saturday. So that means that series would not start until Monday or Tuesday, probably at the earliest. I think they start on when do they start? Yeah, I don't know when they start the next series, to be determined. but it won't be if it goes 7. So you're going to have second round games this coming weekend if series end in 6, if any series ends in 6.
That's why you gotta play Jimmy on Wednesday. You get the rest by trying to get out of this series early.
What's your thoughts? You think they got enough to take Houston on Wednesday in Houston?
I do. The energy thing is serious, but I think you're underestimating how much of an emotional loss this is for Houston. Like, they had a chance to tie up this series, and now they feel like they're dead in the water. I just don't see how with Jimmy here, like, outside of Pajemski, who was incredible tonight, Curry, I was actually surprised he only took 13 shots, but the Warriors didn't even play that well. With Jimmy here, I don't see how Houston like beats them, even if the Warriors have an okay game. They just don't have enough offense.
Well,
yeah, the Warriors are going to adjust.
I mean, Sengun looked like he could have scored 40 tonight. So
yeah, I know. Well, that's true, but he also had like 21 of his points come when the fact Draymond was off the court. So you'd also have to be banking on Draymond picking up 5 fouls again. Do you also you think Fred VanVleet's going to shoot 8 for 12 again? That was crazy.
Probably
8 for 12. 8 for 12 from 3.
And those were long, and they were all nothing but net. They were just nothing but net.
Championship pedigree. He's done it before. That's why they got him.
Take away the last one though. He's 8 for 11. Like, if you're not counting that last heave, that's crazy. He couldn't miss.
I don't doubt that guy at all, man. I do not. He's one of the most mentally tough players that. I mean, I don't want to put a number on it, but I've been watching him since he was at Wichita State. He was money at Wichita State. He won a G League championship as a member of the 805s up in Toronto. He's won an NBA championship. The guy's a flat-out winner. Listen, the only other player that has met Stephen Curry in mano-a-mano type battles is Kyrie Irving and Fred VanVleet.
Oh yeah, no, that Raptors series gives me nightmares. I'm not saying I doubt him. I'm saying I don't think he shoots 8 for 12 again. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think he does either. And I also didn't the Warriors, when they beat Boston, wasn't Udoka the coach on that Boston?
Yeah.
Yes. So they went back there and beat him in, what was that, game 6?
Yes.
Game 6? Yeah.
And that wasn't particularly close either.
No. I wonder if the Warriors, because I think Kerr, a lot of people get on Kerr, and, Kerr is not a great coach. He doesn't do this. Look, Kerr is one of the all-time great coaches, especially when it comes to the playoffs. You got to realize a lot of coaching doesn't happen in the regular season. They get the training camp, they put in their sets, they put in their plays, they have some time, early on in October. As the season goes along, these guys get worn out, and a Kerr having a veteran team, he just tells his guys just come, he'll give them the day off because he knows it's such a grind. This guy's been through 4. He's won 4 NBA titles as a coach. He's lost 2. So he's been in 6 finals as a coach, and he won how many as a player? 4? How many did you win as a player?
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
I think he won 4 with Chicago, 1 with San Antonio.
Yeah.
Something like that. You can't tell me this guy doesn't know that this is the time the season really gets going. And you watch these games from game to game. They are different tonight, they're not letting Curry beat you. And they went to the hoop. Houston says, we're going to be able to score. And then they made the adjustments at halftime. We're going to even go to the hoop even more because they know they can't shoot for one. They only have one real shooter in VanVleet. And if Green's sometimes is on, sometimes
they just benched him today.
It's like a 31% shooter from, something like that. So their plan was go to the hoop, right? I mean, what did Green had the big game where he hit like 38 in game 2?
Yeah. And he had
tonight?
9 last game. He had 8 tonight.
Yeah, and the other game, I think he only had 11 or something, right? Game 1?
I think so. He had
Yeah.
less minutes than Steven Adams tonight, and he only played 2 more minutes than Jabari Smith Jr., who came off the bench.
Right.
I don't know why he doesn't start.
I don't either.
Ibn Joke is a great coach, but why doesn't Jabari Smith play like 35 minutes a game?
He played 22 minutes.
Huh?
I feel like he shoots 80%.
I don't get it. This guy is just a lethal killer. I don't understand it.
Former number 1 draft pick overall in the whole draft, right?
No. What did he come out doing the? No, I think he was number 3. He was number 3 because
Was he? I thought he was number 1.
Barrios, the guy who's on Orlando, he's in that draft along with Holmgren, I believe.
And Carroll, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
He's only 21.
Yeah, he's number 3.
That's
I believe.
crazy.
Wow. Yeah, Houston's, if they can keep these guys together, they'll be good for a long time. But what do you guys think of what do you think of the free throw spat there with Jimmy and Dylan Brooks? What do you think was being said there, Frank?
It's
Your breath stink. I don't like your family. You're a bum. And then they could have, they could have gotten even more personal. I mean, the NBA is a wild place, man. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this report. Not that this conversation was anything remotely towards that, but there was a stat that said that like 70% of the guys in the NBA have slept with other people's girlfriends.
Oh boy.
Well,
that's a wild place, man. It's a wild place.
They pretty much figured out what he said. Like, you had the lip readers and then some of those audio.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He said, I don't know, like, do you guys allow swearing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, he said you're a bum, you're a bitch, and you're weak. That's what he said.
Jimmy said that?
Jimmy said that to Dylan Brooks, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
And Dylan just laughed. Yeah, Brooks is he's an instigator. He's definitely an antagonist. But his game has gotten better. I will give him credit. His game has gotten better. His shot used to love when he was Memphis. Just let him shoot it because he bricked it. He's actually does a decent job.
That dude got an $80 million contract out of it. He got somebody to pay him $80 million to play basketball. So,
yeah.
He's doing something right.
Yeah. But, it's going to be interesting because game 5, there's going to be it's a chess match. I'm not sure what the Warriors are going to do, but my guess is they go back to more of what they did in game 3, which is get the ball to Peyton at the post, let him drive into the bucket and take it to the hoop or pass it out for a wide open corner 3, because tonight I didn't see any of that hardly. Didn't see any of it. Houston had changed its defense a little bit to not necessarily trap Steph all the time. They were doing it at times, but they were just ball hawking him and switching, and he could not get open.
Well, they played a good zone.
Yeah,
they played zone tonight,
and they were playing zone, right? They were playing zone.
They had the 2 biggest guys on the court. They had Şengün and Steven Adams on the court, and the 6'10" guy we were just talking about.
Jabari.
Yes, I mean they had the big boy lineup out there tonight, and the driving lanes were really narrow for the Warriors,
right.
And an excellent defensive scheme. And fortunately for the Warriors defensive scheme was probably even better than Houston's. So that's how they won, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, their zone, the doubling they did off the zone on Steph was really good. In that first half, it kind of looked like Steph started getting complacent with just getting the ball out because they're covering him so well off that zone. And that's what led to all those horrible possessions where it was either just like Buddy or Podziemski, who was great tonight, but they just had to ISO with like 6-7 seconds left on the shot clock. And obviously Kerr and the coaching staff are going to have adjustments for that this next game, but it really messed them up early.
Right. Yeah, they were shooting air balls. I saw at least 5 tonight. Steph had 2 of them? Post
He was off.
Yeah, he was off tonight. I don't know if it was what it was. He was off. And then at the end of this first half, he had 3 turnovers that led to, 6 points, quick points. I don't know. And it seems like he was a little frustrated tonight, Steph, that he wasn't getting any calls from the officials when they were grabbing him, knocking him down. You could see him like, what? And then he seemed frustrated that he got all ball on defense. He wanted Kerr to challenge.
Yeah.
Kerr never did.
That was crazy.
I don't understand why Kerr doesn't challenge when Steph's adamant about it. Steph doesn't
they tried to challenge, and the ref said that it was a
delay a game,
so they wouldn't let him challenge it.
Right. Yeah.
Because
which was just ridiculous.
No. I mean, it was delay a game. I mean, when you challenge, you're not supposed to look at it on film and then challenge.
Yeah, but how often do they call that?
Well, that's the fault of the officials, though. I mean, how are you officiating the game? I mean, the officials know what's going on, and some of them let the teams get away with it. But the reality is, if you want to challenge a play, you challenge it, and okay, we look at the monitor. You don't look at your bench and go, well, are you guys looking at the tape first and then let's challenge it? So. Well,
they do. All the teams look at the tape. They do get a certain amount of time to challenge.
30 seconds, supposedly. I mean,
and the bench has got to look at it quick. And, in that case, I'm adamant with my star player because he was like, I'm not going to do it if it's just, usually Draymond's, I don't know. He's maybe 50-50 on his stuff.
Right.
But Steph doesn't speak up unless he got all ball.
Yeah. Curry never does that. Draymond's kind of the boy who cried wolf at this point with those.
Exactly.
If Curry's that adamant about it, just agree with him.
Yeah, don't worry about turning around, looking at the coach.
I'm with that. I have no problem with that.
Kerr should have just listened. I don't know if is he the captain, Steph? Do they have a captain? I don't know.
Yeah, he's the captain.
I would assume he's the captain. Look, you go by his history. He's not adamant at all ever. And when he gets demonstrative, that means he's pretty sure.
Here's the thing, though, Dan, and I don't know the term, approximate, they call it, whatever. Stephen might have made the right play, but I remember the play I'm looking at the picture in my mind. One of his teammates might have had their hand on the offensive player. Right. So they can do that now. And I think teams are more and more cognizant of that. Yeah, you might not be at fault, but we can take a look at the entire sequence of the play now.
Exactly, and that was a key point early in the game. And when Steph drove to the hoop and he was fouled by Brooks, you could see it clearly. He got hip checked as he was in the air, and then the ball got bounced off of Curry and went out of bounds.
Yeah, it's called proximity foul.
They called timeout just to get that foul call. They knew it was off Curry, but he was fouled, and that was a good challenge. And I was kind of like going, are the refs are they gonna give this to the Warriors or not? Because I was thinking if they don't give it to them, that's not good.
Dan, I want to bring up 2 points. That was the key play yesterday with Minnesota and the Lakers, where they did the proximity foul, where LeBron actually fouled them, which was sort of the huge point of the game. But the other thing with the challenge is you got to take this for granted. They used their challenge and lost their last time out when Brooks fouled Butler on the 3-pointer, where obviously he fouled him. Right. And because of that, with threes, when they were down 3, they didn't have a free throw. A timeout left after the timeout. So they had to do the play, and if and that's why people keep saying, oh, you got to challenge. You got to challenge. You got to remember, if you're wrong, what you lose. I mean,
exactly.
I like when you lose a timeout. I mean, if you do that in hockey, you're automatically on the power play if you're wrong. I mean, because they want the refs to, you got to be right, but you got to do the challenge at the right time, because you got to think the long haul. Oh my God, if we're wrong, we lose those timeouts, and those timeouts are so valuable, especially at the end of the game.
Great
Well,
point.
that's a great point. I don't know if you guys watched the Knicks Pistons
Thanks, guys.
game
I'm done for the
yesterday.
day. I made a good point. No, I'm kidding.
The the Knicks Pistons game
Yeah.
yesterday, where it ended on that no call three. The Pistons coach wasted his challenge on a play in the first quarter. It was 8-10, and he wasted it on an out of bounds play.
I
Not
remember
even a
that.
play, not even a play that would have changed the point differential. It's just an out of bounds play, and he lost. They didn't have the challenge later in the game when they could have challenged that 3-pointer. It's just
Yeah.
Can you challenge it when the game's officially over? Because there was 0-0
No, you can't.
on the
You
clock.
cannot. You cannot. Can you challenge it if there's
I
a
thought
no
there was
call?
time left. I
If
thought there
there's
was
no
time left.
Well, with the there was time left when he shot it. Can you challenge? I think you can. Yeah, you could challenge
I just don't know
if
the
there's a
rule.
no call. They challenge all the time, right? That game ended. Hey, I want to challenge that last shot.
Yeah, he
that you
didn't have
fouled.
any. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, he didn't have any.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just dumb to call early timeouts in. Yeah, you want to definitely try to save them.
But there is something to like these coaches feel compelled to challenge it when their star player says challenge it. I mean, when LeBron looks at JJ Redick and he goes challenge it, you better challenge it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a delicate situation for these coaches. It really is. You know.
Yeah, they're because they're thinking, hey, you know, if I'm wrong, we got a different angle. We saw this. We saw maybe another foul. We don't want to waste our time out. All that. Yeah, I mean, you definitely.
I think they. Sorry, Dan.
I was just gonna say you definitely don't want to run out of timeouts
No.
at the you definitely want to have a timeout left in your chamber with in a tight game less than 30 seconds to go. I mean, you know how that goes in the NBA. I mean, you get that timeout, you automatically get to advance it past half court, which saves you 5-6 seconds if they're pressuring you.
I think the easiest way to fix all this is why don't you just leave it up to the assistant coach whose job it is to look at the iPad who has all the replays on all this stuff. Just leave it up to that guy whose main job is to say yes or no to these challenges.
Yeah, well, that's why Kerr looks at him usually. Sometimes he'll look up at the big screen and do it himself, but if he's getting, pressured by one of the players, but you see him always turning his head like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? He's like,
Yeah.
Nobody wants
and the guy on the bench doesn't want to be wrong, so he's looking at it. He's probably thinking, shoot, it's a 50-50. If I'm wrong too many times, I might not have a job next year. I'm
Right.
just the replay guy.
I've seen Draymond argue with that guy too when they actually call a timeout.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And they're going back and forth. He's like, no, you clearly fouled him. And Draymond's like arguing with that guy. It's funny.
Yeah. But Wednesday night should be another barn burner. I mean, I don't know if I like which round I like the best, but the first round, it's great because you got 8 series going at once, and then it gets cut in half in the second round. And obviously the championship, it's just 2 series. This is great because you got a game on every night. Like tomorrow night, we've got 3 games tomorrow night. We've got Bucks Pacers, which that series is over, unfortunately. For Dame, man, I feel really bad for him. That sucks. That really sucks. He's not even going to be able to play next year now.
I mean, they make that statement, but there have been guys come back from Achilles in 6 months. It's not likely, but there are guys who come back in 6-7 months.
He might be back if they make the playoffs.
Yeah,
he could come back in April.
I think
March or April.
Giannis is going to be gone.
what'd you say?
I don't think Giannis will be on Milwaukee to start next year.
Why do you say that?
Because They have no draft capital at all. They don't own any of their picks up until 2031. The team around him is just not capable of winning anything meaningful.
Mm.
And if this Dame injury is as bad as they think it is, then he probably won't even be able to play next year. And I don't know if Giannis wants to waste another year of his prime on a team that doesn't even look like they'll be able to compete at all in the East.
Where would he
next year.
go? Where would he go? What do you think?
There's a case to be made for Brooklyn. They have the draft pieces that they could trade back. There's a lot of teams.
But
Sorry,
Giannis
Frank.
going to I'm saying Giannis going to Brooklyn with their draft capital is not going to help Brooklyn be a contender next year. It's not.
There's a case that you could be the Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'd hope for.
Jimmy
I-
could
and
go
there's-
back to Milwaukee, where he's from. Didn't he go to Marquette, right? Played at Marquette?
Yeah, he's from Texas.
Oh, okay.
Lives in LA, I think.
But the Brooklyn piece also is they're only paying, I think, $50 million worth on guys on the roster next year. So that would obviously be a spot where they could sign other free agents just for the Brooklyn case.
Mm.
But I'd have to look at other teams too.
You also, oh, by the way, I was just going over the games tomorrow night. You've got that one. Then you got the Pistons, Knicks. That's going to be even though it's 3-1, the Knicks don't have an easy time with the Pistons. Pistons are giving them a battle each game. And then Celtics Magic, that's over. It's 3-1 Celtics, and that goes back to Boston for game 5. That's over. The series to really watch. I think the Pacers series ends tomorrow night in a resounding victory in Indiana. And then I think the Knicks put away the Pistons 4-1. Celtics win 4-1. Nuggets Clippers flip a coin. I don't know what.
When is that game? Is that tomorrow or is that Wednesday?
That's tomorrow. It's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Okay.
So everything's scheduled right now for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, alternate days.
The Lakers play on Wednesday, all right? The Lakers play Wednesday.
Lakers play Wednesday. Warriors play Wednesday. The
Okay.
Warriors have the early game Wednesday. They're going to go give Lakers prime time Thursday night. And so that's kind of cool that the Warriors play Wednesday. Thursday, I think there's just one game. I don't think the Knicks. I think if there's any team that can win tomorrow night that's down 3-1, it's the Pistons. I don't give the Magic a shot, and I don't give the Bucks a shot. So those series are dead and over. And the first round, you see a lot of 4-0s, especially the 1 seeds. You see some 4-1 victories. It's kind of interesting because the Warriors really do need to win tomorrow and then you kind of root for the Lakers so that it goes back to Minnesota and that it goes at least 6, because if it goes 6 and they win, I think they'll play game 1 in Minnesota. If Minnesota wins in game 6 and the Warriors win in either 5 or 6, I think the Warriors are going to play Sunday in Minnesota, is my guess. That's my guess at the first game of round 2. I don't know. And then they kind of give them a few days off and set it, like second game, like on a Wednesday or something. We'll see.
I wouldn't be shocked if LA shoots 50 free throws on Wednesday.
Oh, gosh, yeah. At home. Oh, gosh. LeBron gets 18 free throws and Reeves gets another 15.
All Minnesota starters have like 3 fouls halfway through the second quarter.
Wow.
That would be embarrassing. If Minnesota took them out in LA, that would be embarrassing. I mean, like the conversation around what a historical blunder of a trade that Nico made is starting to change a little bit now. I never really bought into it. I mean, you could argue that Dallas should have got more
Right.
But it was not an outrageous trade
Yeah,
the way that
that's
a lot of these people were talking. I'm like, what are you talking about? Have you seen Luka play? Luka
yeah, you're
is
right.
great.
100%.
But mano a mano, best against best, all of those players are two-way players. All of them. So I was surprised that there wasn't an even conversation around the AD Luka thing, because the other nugget is $350 million that Dallas did not want to pay him. And now LA doesn't have to pay him that because he's not eligible for the Supermax.
Right. Yeah, he lost money, Luka, huh?
$70,
Yeah,
$80 million.
That's a great point, because the only argument you can make against that trade is what they got in return. But like them getting in front of the $350 million, the way he's playing currently, like you start to question, like, he looks bad right now. And that trade, I mean, the more Luka looks like this, the more Nico Harrison is probably out there smiling in his room wherever he's watching the game. But Frank's right.
Yeah, I don't see Luka. Look, it was the 22 season. This is the third season after the Warriors beat Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. And what was the knock on Luka in 22? He's out of shape because the Warriors ran him ragged. And they were saying he's never going to get over the mountaintop until he gets really in shape and takes conditioning serious. And then we go, and yet he continues to get all NBA first team because they just look at the number. They look at the offense. They don't even consider defense. They got, we got a defensive award, defensive player of the year. So I don't understand how guys get offense, top team when there's guys like Steph that, Steph's probably not going to make it this year, is he?
No, they're going to give it to Donovan Mitchell, probably. He'll be the guy that gets it over Steph in that slot. But Dan, do you forget who the second option was on that team that they didn't want to pay $40 million to?
On who? Dallas?
Yeah.
Second option? Was it
Jalen Brunson? He asked for $40 million. He asked for a $40 million extension. They didn't want to pay it. That's why he signed with New York. They would only
it wasn't 40 year. It wasn't 40 per year.
It was 40. It was 40 for 2, I think.
Yeah, something like yeah.
40 for 2 years.
Yep, and they would. Mark Cuban didn't want to pay that. That's why he went to New York.
How dumb is that? Jalen Brunson,
Listen, I've been a Knicks fan my whole life, and it's funny watching Jalen Brunson. He is this generation's Walt Clyde Frazier. The only thing he needs to do is win a championship. He's already draped in glory in New York in the couple of years that he's played because, first of all, he's a great player, right? He doesn't complain, right? He can handle New York. He can handle the moment. And oh, by the way, he left 80 to 100 million on the table on his own volition. This is a quintessential leader, New York Knick for life type of guy. Yeah. He's awesome.
Hey, let's as we close out this, let's do this. Let's predict what happens in these first round matchups and see if we can get the first round matchups right, and then we just got 2 in the East, 2 in the West matchups. See if we can nail those. So in the East, I think it's Knicks against Boston. And then it's obviously Cleveland against who was the 4th seed?
Indiana.
You're muted. Or you were. Sorry.
Cleveland, Indiana. Okay, those are the 4 teams that advance, obviously. In the West, we already know OKC. I think it's the Clippers somehow squeeze this series out against the Nuggets. It's going to be fun. And then I think the Warriors and then the T-Wolves. So that's my prediction. And I think the Warriors can take the T-Wolves. It's going to be tough, but I think they can beat the T-Wolves. I think in a really rugged series, OKC somehow takes out the Clippers. I think it'll go 7. And that's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to face the Clippers that's kind of my wishful, I guess.
Mhm.
I think the Clippers could not easily, but I could see the Clippers coming out of the Western Conference. So I'm not, but I'm, and then in the East, I'll tell you that is going to be a heck of a fun battle watching the old Boston, New York series in the playoffs again. I used to love that series when they didn't even call them the Knicks back then. They called them the Knickerbockers back in the 70s. And those were some great series. It seemed like every year, Frank, the Knicks and Celtics were battling in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're
right.
I'd have to probably go with Boston there, and then I'll take Cleveland over Indiana. And then that's as far as I'm going to go right now. Cleveland, Indiana, or Cleveland, Boston, and then I'm going to say Warriors against the Thunder in the finals. What do you guys take? What do you guys got?
What do you think, Lou?
It's amazing how one shot can make a difference. If Green doesn't play great defense and Seguin hits that shot with 7 seconds left, it's a 2-2 tie. So I'm not saying anything about this series because Houston's going to say this. They win Wednesday night. All they got to do is win one game at Golden State. And if it goes to game 7 at Houston, I don't know if we're going to be able to win it because they're going to have the momentum. Everything's going Houston's way. It might not be our year. So I think Wednesday night's a huge night. But you guys got to remember, tonight, easily the Warriors could have lost. And we're talking about, oh my God, they're not going to shoot like this. They're going home, guys. Everyone shoots better at home, and I think
Not
Wednesday's
Houston.
I'm just saying overall players. You got to remember what happened game 2. You guys already forgot what happened.
Yeah, Green. Yeah.
He could
Jimmy
wake up.
Butler,
Jimmy
Jimmy Butler got hurt 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, you guys, I don't think it's over at all. I think.
Well, I don't think it's over, but I think they're going to win. I just think they're going to win the series.
Okay. And then, I think there'll be a surprise in the East. It's too easy. It's going to be Cleveland and Boston. I think one of those teams is going to get beat.
I hope the Knicks win because I can't stand Boston, but.
So because the Celtics just haven't put a great game together. They're having problems. I think Cleveland's going to be very tough. And I think out West, I still think it's anyone's thing. I think, Minnesota, boy, what they're doing to LA, it's getting, you could be seeing something pretty special in Minnesota. I hate that we have to go against them next round, especially after this round. I just hope we have something left. And
Minnesota, I told you to watch out for them. They're tough.
And I think I think OKC is just for real. I mean, we're gonna, for us to beat them, we're gonna have to have everyone step up every game because their offense is sort of incredible and their defense is good too.
The Warriors beat Lou. The Warriors beat OKC
doesn't matter
without Jimmy.
Doesn't matter.
Twice.
Playoffs are different.
2 or 3
and
times.
They got the home field. So I'm not going to be a homer. I'm just telling you, the way I feel. So, it's just tough because I don't know what we're going to have left after this series. This series is grueling. I just hope, we play tough and we can beat Minnesota. Let's keep it.
But you know what? The Warriors like physical play. You know why? Because they're a physical setting screen team. They get away with some of their screens that they don't. They're able to set picks that might be able to, move that hip a little bit more, or those screens are setting down in the paint. Even they look like they're doing the football sled down there. They're just moving their legs and driving because there's so much physicality going on. The Warriors I think the Warriors benefit sometimes from the physical style of play because of the way. They like to set their screens. I don't know. That's just my thought. But what's your thought, Frank, on the next on these rounds here?
I look at the way Cleveland is playing right now. As good as Indiana's pace is, I think it'll be a competitive series. But if Cleveland can't beat Indiana, I mean, what is the regular season worth? So I think that they will win that. The Boston, if the Knicks can get by Detroit, as a Knicks fan, I would be disappointed if it didn't go at least 6 games. And if it goes 6 games, anybody can win. The Knicks have enough personnel to beat Boston. They do. They simply have to execute on a level that they have not executed on consistently over the past couple of years. So, I'll be guessing if I said that I knew who was going to win, but those series should be really, really competitive. The one thing that's interesting to me is the Clippers might have lost the series on Saturday because they let that game get away on their home court. And now Denver, a team that is not as talented as the Clippers are pretty much in the driver's seat right now. Game 5 is going to be critical. And Denver finds a way to be miraculous at home. They got the Joker. That's an excellent series. I wouldn't count LA out. I don't expect them to win the series. I don't. But I would never count them out. If I'm the Warriors and I get by Houston, I would feel disappointed if I played against Minnesota and I couldn't knock them off. So the Warriors are sitting pretty right now if they can get past Houston because I think they can beat Minnesota. Steve Kerr historically has gotten over on the Timberwolves coach. The Warriors have individual defenders to do things against Minnesota that other teams apparently can't do. The Warriors are really smart defensively. They don't make a lot of mistakes. So they can play against anybody. So this is setting up well for the Golden State Warriors. I'll just say that in the Western Conference.
Deloading, what's your takes?
I'll go through the Eastern Conference quick. I think it's just going to be Boston and Cleveland. I think the Cleveland-Indiana game is actually going to be pretty competitive. Indiana's pace is just really interesting to watch, especially those two quick teams.
That's why they're called the Pacers.
True. I just think it's going to be Boston and Cleveland. On the West, I think the I think the Clipper-Denver series is going to go 7. That just has all the makings for a 7-game series. I think the Clippers are going to come out with it. And I hope they come out with it because I think they'll offer a much better series to OKC than Denver would, just based off bench and energy-wise. I think the Lakers win Game 5 and then lose back in Minnesota. And I think the Warriors finish it in Houston on Wednesday. I think they know the importance of this game, getting that rest, hoping that LA can push it one more game. And people are talking about how impressive Minnesota has been, and they have been, but they offer different challenges for the Warriors, but also offer things that the Warriors can exploit. Minnesota's going up against a team right now that is offering no defensive resistancy whatsoever. The Warriors have a great defense. They'd be able to hold some of these wide open shots that Minnesota's getting right now a little better. And I just think the Warriors getting Houston out of the way in the first round, they're not going to see a team this aggressive defensively, this constantly in your face, hitting the boards, just intensity. I think them getting them in the first round is big because that's probably the toughest defense you're going to see regardless if you do go all the way. So,
well, that's a good point. Who would you rather, if the Warriors get past Houston, who would you rather face, Minnesota or the Lakers? And they used to be the Minneapolis Lakers.
There's different answers to that because I think the Lakers would be a more favorable matchup for the Warriors, but I also just don't want to see a 7-game series of people trying to foul bait and have the refs involved. And I think you more so would see that in a Lakers series. So I kind of do want Minnesota. They've also had Minnesota's number this year. Minnesota's a different team than they were like throughout the regular season right now, but
Well, I'll tell you
I'd
what.
rather see
If the
Minnesota.
Warriors can win Game 5 Wednesday night, and the Lakers somehow can push this thing to 7, doesn't matter who wins. If it goes 7, that game is Saturday. That means the Warriors' first game, the earliest would be Monday. I would assume it would be Tuesday night. That would give them like 5 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They could get 5 days of rest, which would be tremendous for Jimmy and Steph. So that's what you root for. If you really want to see this Warriors team have the best path, win Game 5 Wednesday night and have the Lakers T-Wolves series go 7, because Game 7 is Sunday. So yeah, I was thinking it could be Saturday. It wouldn't be the earliest; it would be Tuesday, and it might not even be till Wednesday. That's that first game of round 2. So, because right now it is Wednesday night for Game 5 for Lakers, and then they're on the same schedule. Actually, they're on the exact same schedule. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So, yeah, there you go. So you want that Lakers series to go 7 if you can, and then it goes into Sunday. That gets the early next week would be the Game 1. So let's see how that goes. Should be fun. Should be, I mean, Warriors have, they're in the best position. This is what I felt like was the plan. I don't know about you guys. I've watched this Warrior team for years, and they always try to at least win. If they're for the most part, they've had home court advantage, but when they haven't, they've always tried to get one in the first, steal one, and then come back and maintain home court advantage and they did this in 22 quite a bit, didn't they? Didn't they go up 3-1? Then they go on the road and yeah. So this is the formula. And, I love the opening of the second half. I don't know about you guys. I was 57-50 at halftime, and all of a sudden it's 68-58, 18-1 run. And yet that still wasn't enough. Houston kept fighting back.
They did the same thing they did in the first quarter. They got up big and then just let it go.
Yep, and it happened so quick. Van Fleet was amazing tonight. So, guys.
Sorry, just one quick thing. Because we talked about it earlier, but one of the adjustments I wouldn't be surprised if they made, Jabari Smith, Sengun, and Steven Adams, when they're all on the floor together, they're a plus 24 tonight. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with like a super big lineup to start Game 5 with those 3.
Oh, the Rockets. What do you think, Kerr? Do you think Kerr counters and does anything with? Does he do 2 big guys? Does he do Post and Looney and along with Jimmy, Draymond?
Not to start. I think the only adjustment for that would just be Post starting with Draymond, possibly.
Yeah, and that actually wouldn't be the best move for Ime Udoka, even though he might do it, because those big guys cause problems, but they tend to get in foul trouble. And if you're burning up your backup front court players as starters and they haven't really had time to really be productive, that could be problematic. But Ime has to pull out all the bag of tricks that he has to get this team a victory on Wednesday. But I think starting Steve Adams and Sengun together, along with Jabari Smith, he's not going to start. They're going to start Devin Brooks. I just think Sengun and Adams together at the start of the game is problematic for them because they foul a lot. Both of them do.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll play a lot together within the game. I don't think any doubt about that.
Yeah.
There is no tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
On Wednesday, that's it.
Houston's going to be playing, you thought they played hard tonight. Wait till we see Wednesday night.
Watch your legs.
Yeah. Warriors are going to have to just play sound fundamental. They hadn't have a turnover until the last 10 seconds of the first quarter, the Warriors tonight. And then they started turning it over like crazy afterwards. And Houston got 17 points off turnovers. Man, you can't have that. It's kind of like the Warriors are the much better team overall. Tonight, the Rockets were 11 of 23 from 3-point range, and they shot 48, just under 48%. The Warriors only shot 37%, but they took 46 shots, so they made 17. So they still made 6 more threes. That's 18 points right there. So if the Warriors don't turn the ball over, it's hard for the Rockets to win because the Warriors can put up more shots and score more because they're taking more volume.
But Dan, you could say that about Houston. You remember how the game started tonight? Houston had 5 out of their first 6 possessions were turnovers, and all of a sudden the Warriors are up 11 or 13-2 to begin the game.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so.
But I mean, that's what I mean. But the Warriors have had more 3-point attempts, even though their percentage has been worse than Houston for the most part in this series. They're getting more attempts and they're making more. And so that's the difference in the points. I mean, you're looking at overall tonight, Houston was 38 of 77, 49.5%. The Warriors were 36 of 86. So they had made 2 less field goals, but they had 6 more 3-pointers. So, and because Houston won they had a lot of trips to the charity line tonight. Houston was from the free throw line 19 of 31.
That's
Warriors
terrible.
were 20 of 22. So
difference.
How did that turn out to be a 1-point game then? Let me see. How does that happen? If the Warriors had 6
points off turnovers,
but there was a 3-point difference the game. The Warriors were +1 on the free throws, and they were plus 18.
No. Warriors were 20 for 22 from the free throw line.
Right, but the Rockets only made 19.
Okay.
So the Warriors were +1 there. They made 6 more threes. That's 18 points. That's 19 plus 19. And then the field goals.
it had to be the field goals.
Oh, they count the field goals in the 3-point overall. So that's
right.
But yeah, okay, because the Rockets had made 38 field goals, and 11 of those were threes. So that means 11 of them were threes, and that means that the other 27 were twos, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Warriors were 36 of 86, and 17 of them were threes. So that means only 19 twos. Yeah, that's the difference. Only 19 twos to 27 twos. Okay. There you go. But that's the difference. The shot attempts were pretty much the Warriors had 9 more shot attempts. And it seems like Houston's getting the more shot attempts because they're getting so many more rebounds. And I mean, Houston rebounded tonight. They had total rebounds 41 to 34. So it was a difference of 16 at one point. I heard him say on the broadcast. So the Warriors closed the gap there in the fourth quarter. Must have been all the yeah, geez. Wow. So crazy. All right. Yeah, I put everybody to sleep there with all those stats. I know. Sorry. I was just, my head was going, what's going on here? So let's get out of here, guys. We'll be back Wednesday night, Warriors post game. Hopefully it's a wrap. That one should be early. That one should be about a 7:00 game.
They play 4:30.
Yeah, so it should be ending right around 7. Let me see what the Giants are doing. I know they're playing San Diego, but I don't know what time that game is on Wednesday.
They have a day game Wednesday.
Yeah, it's 1:10.
Beautiful. Works out perfect. Okay, so we'll come back on about 7-ish Wednesday night, and we'll see if it's a wrap or not. But thanks to Frank and Lou and D-Loading for hopping on, and we appreciate you guys being here. And you got final prediction Wednesday night. What's your take on Wednesday night score? Just the Warriors Rockets only.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I know he's going Rockets.
Yeah, I think Rockets win in a close one, and we're coming back Friday for Game 6. I'll say 99-93 Houston.
Frank.
I'll say 115-109 Warriors. It's hard to hold Stephen Curry down for 2 straight games. I think he scores over 30, and the Warriors win.
I think 107-98 Warriors. They close it out.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go. I'm going to take the experience as well. I think the Warriors know what they got to do, and I think they're going to go down. They're not going down there to lay an egg. They know they're hurting, and they got to finish it off. And I think they go out there, and it's a 105-95 win. 105-95.
There you go.
That's it. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you Wednesday. Tomorrow, guys, we'll be here tomorrow night at NorCal Sports Network, Giants postgame after Giants Padres. And that game starts tomorrow night at 6:40. So we should be on about 9:15-ish, give or take a few minutes tomorrow night. So we'll see. Logan Webb takes the mound for the Giants, and the first place Giants take on the Padres. Crazy. So appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. It does help the show. And Instant, thank you for being here. Dan, Lou, and crew. I like that. Lou and crew. All right. Frank, everybody go check out Frank's show. He'll be on Sunday night. That's In the Dungeon Show. Make sure you go subscribe to that channel. I'll put up the banner here for you in just a minute so I can find it. There we go. In the Dungeon Show, right on YouTube. No spaces. Just there's the spelling. So check it out Sunday night. Movie reviews and basketball reviews. All kinds of good stuff.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you, gentlemen.
Thanks,
night,
Frank.
everybody.
Have a great night. All right, everybody.
Bye-bye.
We will see you guys tomorrow night for Giants fans. Appreciate it. And have a great night, everybody. Appreciate it. Take care. Go Dubs. Go Giants.